there seems to be some weird tech stuff going on. Hello, BB. I see you. I see, hold on, I don't know what's happening here. Everything's crashing. Let's see. I don't really know what's happening. There's some kind of technical goop going on. That's a very new problem to me. Sorry, hold on. Tech URL problems. Not sure what they are. So I'm just going to put that in and see what's happening. I don't know why the stream has crashed. There's something very wrong here. I'm going to go to the stage. Hey, so, excuse me. I don't know what it is. Hello, Lady G. So, please give me a moment. Give me a second here. Okay, stream is... Okay, there's a lot of very conflicting messages coming on to Terralumination from YouTube, and I don't understand what they are. Give me a second here. Let me just try this. Hello. There's some kind of really strange thing happening with the YouTube servers and the my computers and the internet. There's a lot of stuff Oh, okay. So it's sort of working. I can see that it looks like it should be working from here. Excuse me. It's very strange. It's an extremely long delay, and I don't know why. I don't know why it would be such a huge long delay. Just please give me a few minutes as things try to settle down. Hello, Tina. Hi. I'm trying to stabilize things over here. Give me a second, okay? Just give me a second. I'm going to go over to the raw stage here because that uses less power. Okay, it looks like it's good on your end. Okay, I have to just do another technical test here to see what the heck is causing so many issues. Okay, so this I'm running multiple softwares simultaneously, and I'm not quite sure which one is causing such a drain on the system, but something is really, there's something happening with Windows itself. Okay, so okay, all right, hold on. Okay, here's the problem. This is a just technical thing. I just want to let you guys know. Windows decided that right now is the moment to install some, mandatory updates, which they do whenever they want, however they want to do it. And I don't have any control over it. If I try to shut down the program, Windows will reboot it. So I don't have any options. So I'm just going to keep going and hope that I have enough power left in the computer and all of that stuff to just keep it going, okay? Hello, Path. I see you. Hello, BB. Hi, Tina. Hello, Heather. Hello, Love Driver. Hello, Lily Lynn over there in Austria. Hi, Lily Lynn. Lady G is here. Heather Mocha. Also, Gabby Girl was here a few moments ago. I don't know what happened. Oh... It's been a really, really crazy day with some very bizarre news coming from different angles. So I think the first thing to do is to make a Terralumination astrodoodle so I can just calm down my own particular spirit, okay? And I'm going to do this for my own welfare, and I'm just going to share it with you guys because it's kind of like I'm doing my own little miniature weather observations right now, and that really helps me to stabilize. So give me a second here, and I will do that for you. Hello, Sadia. Hi, Sadia, over there in, is it Tripoli? So I think it's Tripoli. Yeah. So, give me a second. Alright, now, what I'm going to try to do is just a really quick astrodoodle for the day, just so I can, kind of like get in tune with you guys. And that'll help things a little bit. Okay, this is just for today in America. Please bear with me because I have a kind of a few subjects that I want to discuss on this show, and there's a reason why I'm doing this particular show on a Wednesday. Over here in the United States, it is 10th of June, 2020, and it is about 12:15 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is just going to be repeated, okay? But here's the hot spots. Very, very difficult hot spots right now. Okay, Saturn. Okay, Jupiter. And Pluto are all over here in a very, very tight conjunction. Okay, Moon is over here in Aquarius. Actually, I better put the signs out there, shouldn't I? Yeah, okay, I'll put Aries. I'll do it like this. So you don't have to worry about the doodles or what they mean. I'll just put the names. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and I'll just put it over here like this, Capricorn, okay? And over here, this is Aquarius, and this is Pisces, okay? So this is just a very simplified, generic, Western-style universal chart for the world right now. So some of you know we've got the new North Node over here in Gemini at about 1 degree, 29 degrees. And over here is South Node over there in Sagittarius, 29 degrees. Okay, so that's going on. We also have the Sun and Venus over here. Okay, Sun and Venus over here in Gemini. And we have Mercury in Cancer. Okay, also over here, bold, exciting Uranus is in Taurus. Chiron's over here in Aries. I'm going to leave that for a moment. But Mars and Neptune are conjoined right here in Pisces. So this looks very kind of stark on my little astrodoodle, but I'm going to color it up for you, and you'll see what I mean. Right now, we have some extremely unpleasant, very, very unpleasant energy over here. Okay? I'll talk about that in a minute. And that's really kind of one of the problem areas. Over here, in kind of a loose way, we have this going on. I'm just going to keep it fairly loose. Okay? This is a very powerful set of conjunctions here. I'll put a little sweet spot in just for fun, just to show you it's not the end of the world. Okay? Not yet, anyway. Okay. That's the Aquarius moon in tight fun and harmony with all the Gemini energy over here. So let me just do a little bit more of a close-up. See if I can do this. How am I going to do that? Okay. Yeah, so chat amongst yourselves while I'm doing this. Okay. So this is the astrodoodle for today, right now. I'm going to try and keep it really simple. It's 10th of June 2020. It's afternoon Pacific Standard Time in the United States. This is a universal chart for the world. Right now, and for some time, especially over the last few weeks, especially, just as the nodal axis was changing over here, Sagittarius to Gemini. It used to be Cancer, Capricorn. That journey is finished now. We have, in a kind of a loose way, a very, 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 what I consider nasty, super, ultra nasty T-square right here. So can you see this thing? Now, I am kind of fudging the angles a little bit, but if you watch this, here and here is a direct natural opposition. This is the new nodal axis. Sagittarius south node, Gemini on the north node. And there is a kind of a generic theme that goes with this for everybody. And it's about coming down out of our sense of self-righteousness and grandly self-assuring confidence that we are right, because we feel that we are right and we've been on the great journeys of life, and that's great. But what use is that unless you can make it have some kind of value in the day-to-day life down here on Earth? So it's all about coming down from our mountaintops, coming down from our sense of self-assured, hard-earned wisdom, and figuring out how are we going to make this work in day-to-day life. Gemini, the energy of day-to-day transactions and communications with our friends and families, our co-workers, our schools, our communications, our business transactions, okay? Gemini is ruled by Mercury, okay? So how are we going to make that happen? Communications, and all our wisdom and all our great hopes and greatest intentions for the awesome success of mankind. What does that look like down here on Earth? Well, guess what? It's a massive problem right now because we have Mars conjunct Neptune in Pisces, which from my perspective as an amateur astrologer is a very powerful indication of violent, radical, hysterical, maniacal, uncontrolled, self-destructive behavior. Literally, I think this translates to the eclipse that we just had. Okay, for the last 2 weeks, all the big buildup of the protests, which turned into riots and looting, and then the responses by the different governments across the world, which created these really preposterous, outrageous problems that were it just made everything worse. So basically, the way I look at it here is this is a classic example of humanity undermining itself through simple mob behavior, violent, disillusioned mob behavior, where everybody feels that they're right. All the people who did bad things feel that they have the right to do it, but that doesn't work too well. All the people who feel that they had the right to control this, from this side of the political wing or that side of the political ring, they felt they had to do it, and look how much trouble that caused. And then you have the backlash from the media, and it all feeds on itself. It just becomes this massive, monster that eats on itself. And it's just havoc, chaos, violent revolution, okay? So, that's already just happened. The big one happened on the full moon a few days ago. Okay, that was over here. When the moon was over here, we had that eclipse. Okay, that's when this thing was much more strong. But since then, we've moved through a kind of a very subdued few days where the moon was in Capricorn, and now the moon is over here in Aquarius, and it's a little bit softer and sweeter because it's very harmonious with all the Gemini and Venus and the Sun energy. But this is just a very fleeting energy. In a few days or a few hours, the moon is going to be here in Pisces, conjoining all of this. So just imagine the levels of confusion that are going to be piling up here, okay? So please allow for that, okay? Basically, we are still in a lot of delicate conditions right now where there's a lot of volatility. And the volatility goes all the way up to more riots, more chaos, more confusion, more abuses, more political abuses, more abuses by law enforcement, more abuses by the population, all of it feeding on itself like a monster that just, it feeds on its own energy. It's a very nasty alignment. So, as you know from previous videos, we're heading into another eclipse very soon, okay? This is a very different eclipse. Okay, I'm just going to make a very super simplistic astrodoodle for you on that one. I just want to, this is just for illustration purposes only. Okay? Hello everybody, I see you. Hey Gabby girl, thanks for coming back. I just wanted to say, Gabby girl, that I thought a lot about what you said. And I apologize. I really have no intention of hurting or harming anybody. The only reason I have this channel is to try and help people. I do this, a lot of it, to help myself, and then what I figure out is helpful, I try to share that as much as possible. Also, I discovered today that I had deeply offended someone on the channel who's a fabulous artist. And I really miss her, but she had to go because she was offended by some of my behaviors or content or material. I'm not quite sure what. But anyway, that's their right. I have to keep going anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. I really don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I apologize if I do. All I'm doing here on this channel is I'm airing my personal opinions. These are not facts. These are opinions. These are my amateur disclosures of my own personal opinions, and I can't prove any of it. Okay, so on June 21st, roughly, and 22nd, we have the next eclipse, which is going to be the Cancer new moon eclipse over here. Okay? Cancer new moon. Okay, and that's going to be a very extreme eclipse, okay? Over here, we're going to have the sun and the moon together almost like in 1 degree or like 0 degrees. So it's going to be very extreme. And that's going to affect everybody. So let me do one thing here before I get into that. You see this? Now, some of you are kind of interested in astrology anyway. Hello, Sarah Lake Mitchell. I see you. Hello, Pilikoa. I see you. I don't remember that name, but it sounds cool. So, this is like the astrological weather of today, right now. And if you're interested in amateur astrology, you might want to take this, okay, and figure out where does your chart lie. Okay, how does this lay on top of your chart? For example, let's say that you are a Virgo ascendant. Okay, just for the sake of argument, for the sake of displays, I'm just trying to help you guys to help yourselves. Okay, here we go. So let's just say somebody out here is a Virgo ascendant. Then what I would do is this. I would make Virgo on the horizon. You see, right now, Aries is on the horizon. This is the universal chart where Aries is on the rising here. So let's switch it around to Virgo. Okay? So this is what it would look like for a Virgo rising chart. Virgo is here. So for all the Virgos out there, these would be extremely tender, very, very high pressure situations for all Virgos. Okay? This is a very high pressure situation for all Virgos. Look at that. Mars in conjunct Neptune in Pisces in your 7th house. So anyone with a classic Virgo rising, you might be experiencing extreme volatility and illusions and delusions in your most important relationships. And it also could be very heated and passionate, but it could be an indication of things falling apart and things becoming very unstable. Also, you would see that you have up here, okay, Gemini in your 10th house. I'm just using an example of Virgos. So you would have a huge pile of energy up here in your 10th house of destiny, fate, career, long-term implications of your life on this world. Exactly what are you bringing to this world? What is your mission? What is your purpose for being here? That's being heavily amplified right now, and it is under a lot of pressure. Okay, let's keep going. That's just an example for a Virgo rising. If you're a Cancer rising, it would look like this. And these would be your trouble spots, okay? If you're a Libra rising, it would look like this. And these would be your trouble spots, okay? Really high pressure trigger spots. For Libra, perhaps health, okay? Hello, Karen. I see you over there in New Zealand. Let's see, for a Capricorn rising, it would look like this. This is very heavy, challenging energy for a Capricorn right now. And guess what? This is a very good chance for me to segue back into the Cancerian energy, because I'm going to try and show you a link in the moment. Okay, Mercury is in Cancer right now. Pluto is in Capricorn right now. Do any of you recognize this axis from previous videos when I got all heated up and fired up about the United States and the chaos in the banking system and global restructuring? This axis is under tremendous pressure right now. This is born into the United States. Okay? Now the United States has a Cancerian rising, so it has a Sagittarius rising, so it would look sort of like this. Okay, it's a little bit confusing, but let me see if I can get the old doodle. Okay, these are old notes, but they're still very active. Forget Donald for the moment. Let's go to the United States. Here is an astrodoodle of the United States. Okay? Now, I'm hoping you can see some stark and amazing parallels. You see this red line here? This red line here correlates to I'm going to put it like this. Okay, so I'm going to see, I hope this looks, let me see if I can do this. This red squiggle here, okay, again, I'm not doing this very well. This red squiggle here corresponds to this red line here. This is not a joke. This is sacred geometry, like an amazing ticking clock. You know how a lock and key works? Like very complicated locks where they kind of go dunk. Okay, that's what's happening with the United States right now. The astrological weather of the universe, right now, is this. And it's not a coincidence that this is the United States chart. Now, so I just want to point out, this is heavily aspected right now in the planets. Right here. United States is born with Pluto in Capricorn, 27 degrees. It's born with Mercury in Cancer, about 28 degrees. Look at that. Mercury in Cancer, Pluto in Cancer. This is going to bring us years of pressure, okay, for the next 3 or 4 years, and certainly for the rest of 2020. This is like somebody putting immense pressure on a trigger point in your shoulders, okay? That's a lot of placements, BB. So I'm trying to lead up to something here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. The next thing I want to point out, sorry, Donald, give me a break here. Okay, let's get back to what, this is the generic chart, okay? And I'm going to try and line the United States up with this. So it looks sort of like that. Okay, I guess I could do it like this, so you could kind of see it. Okay, so this lines up with this. It's not a joke, it's not a coincidence. That's the Cancerian energy, that's the Cancerian energy. So this astrological pressure is placing heavy hand of the reality check police on the United States of America. Basically, anything and everything that is wrong with America and with Americans, its leadership, its institutions, its banking, its behavior, it's all being exposed, okay? And the rest of the world is watching. All of this is going to be amplified fairly in like, what is it, 10 or 12 days when we have the Cancer new moon eclipse, okay? And then it's going to get even more crazy when we get to another eclipse on the 4th of July, which is going to accent this axis, okay, which is this axis in America. Okay, so over the next few weeks, in fact the next few months, there's going to be an unrelenting pressure on the United States from the planets. Okay, I don't have the software or the ability to make lots and lots of doodles all at once to show you. I'm just trying to give you a little snapshot of what I am seeing in the weather, the astrological weather, okay? And the way I see all of it, it's highly volatile. Massive disruptions, massive upheavals, massive potential for violent revolution, chaotic upheaval in the financial markets, human behavior, political markets, the left wing, the right wing, the Americans facing off America, to the point where we're almost getting America facing off against Americans. I mean, you can see that in the protests, the looting, and the riots. It's America coming unglued. America facing America. American facing American. Just imagine being one of the National Guard people over here, and you have cousins and relatives over here, and you're on the opposite side of the fence. How do you handle that? That's what's happening to America right now. Forget whether you're left wing or right wing, blue state, red state. It's America looking at Americans. Americans looking at Americans. America looking at America. And we are seeing some very disturbing apparitions. And this is going to continue for the rest of 2020. Okay? All of this pressure over here is not going away until the end of the year. Okay? And every time we have a Cancer moon, this is going to be amplified. Every single month when the moon goes into Cancer, this is going to be amplified. These 3 eclipses in the row, you know, when was it? Just the other day with June, and now the 20. Sorry. Okay, the eclipses in a row. This is kind of what I'm getting at, and then I'm going to get to the main subject of the show. All right? We had the eclipse, okay, June the 5th, just the other day. We've got the next one coming up on the 21st. This eclipse accents the Gemini-Sagittarius nodal axis. Yeah, okay? The next one, 21st, okay? That's the Cancer new moon. That's going to affect everybody, especially Cancerians and Capricorns and the United States, okay? Next, the really big one, the one that really scares me, is the 4th of July, 2020. It is an eclipse. Sun will be in Cancer. The moon and Jupiter and Saturn will be in Capricorn. And, sorry, the moon, Jupiter, and Pluto will be in Capricorn. And Saturn is so close, it's on like a 0-degree Aquarius retrograde. It might as well be there too. So this is a very powerful, high-pressure opposition to the Cancerian American energy. So this is a lot of pressure. It's a very high-pressure eclipse. So if any of you watch the news, or you are concerned about the global economy or your local neighborhood or your friends or family, please pay attention to the energy of these eclipses and understand that there are some bigger, deeper energy flows that are happening right now, which really nobody is talking about right now. The news is filled up with, stock markets, and riots and revolts and protests and bullying between one country and another. Fine. So, yeah, that's what the media do. The media is having an amazing time, what I think of as exploiting all of these energies. So let me go to the thing that I wanted to emphasize today. So now I've calmed down a little bit. It looks like the stream is actually still working. So, I'm going to make another astro doodle. And actually, I'm going to put these aside over here for the moment. I'm going to make another astro doodle, which has been kind of bubbling up inside of me for some time, but I never really had the, I never had the nerve to put it on paper. Hold on, give me a second here. I want to check in with you guys. Hello. This is Terra Illumination. What I'm trying to do right now is share my observations and my opinions, okay? I'm doing this mostly to help myself, to calm myself, calm my energies, so I can live with this. This is what's happening. I wrote my book about it years ago, and everything is coming into play. Now, the viral triggers are the triggers. The viral triggers are triggering what we see as the restructuring. And the whole of human behavior is being restructured right now across the earth. And the one that is in some ways the hardest to deal with is money. Because the virus triggered everything about human behavior that has exposed us to our self-undoing. Mars in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. Okay, it's been building up. And all the eclipses and everything up there in the Pluto and Capricorn degrees of about 24, 25 degrees with Jupiter and soon to be Saturn again. Okay, so all of that stuff is old news. Let me just go to something here. Hold on. Some of you may recall this little thing that I wrote. Okay, I wrote it years ago, but everything in here is coming true. And everything in here is not pretty. This is not a pretty book. This is not, I would say, entertaining or jolly. It's a reality check. I wrote this basically to try and be a voice for concern, to put something out there so that people have a little bit of a heads up for the weather. This is essentially kind of a description of what's going on out there and what I see is happening at the deep, deep core soul layers of humanity. where the deepest restructuring is happening right now. But people aren't really talking about it on the news hardly at all, or in the spiritual communities at all, in any way that I can see. Maybe a little bit in the astrology community, but it's more technical stuff. I'm going to go now to stuff that to me makes me feel nauseous, makes me feel sick, queasy, and very frightened at the level of my gut. You know, we hold a lot of fear and grief in here. We can hold terror and panic up here. But sometimes the most frightening feelings occur in here, in our lower gut. And I'm getting it, okay? And my body is an antenna. I am hypersensitive to these energies, the movements of the planets. I've been that way since a kid. It's taken me a very long time to have even a glimpse of an understanding about how to communicate these things in a way that makes any kind of sense. I'm not a technical astrologer. I don't have thousands of dollars of software and talking about the degrees of this. And I mean, you could do that forever. But for me, it's about how do we, crush it down, and like, what does it mean for you in your life? What does it mean for all of us in the world? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a tiny doodle. It's very simple. And I kind of had a practice run yesterday. I was out with my dear friend, and I kind of exploded. It just came out of nowhere, and it turned into one of those doodles on a napkin. We were sitting by a lake, chatting amongst ourselves, discussing things about the world, everything, chaos here, protests there, everything, all the scary things, all the wonderful, beautiful things too. So it was a very balanced situation, but after I've had my little dialogue, it was more like a monologue, and I put it on a napkin, I realized, wow, that's what I have to talk about. I have to put that out there. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm voicing my opinions. So if I hurt anybody's feelings, I'm just trying to help, okay? And I might sound like some kind of paranoid conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I'm just an observer. I'm just observing, given the person that I am, the person that I have become, and the way that my body works as an antenna. I am a transceiver. I transmit energy, I receive energy. I receive energy from up there. I receive energy from what I think of as heaven. I call that energy the healing power of love. It's there. It's available by invitation. It comes into you. You own it, and then you figure out, okay, now I own this. What am I supposed to do with this stuff? You share it. You be loving, you be loved. Be loving, be loved. It starts with you first. Convince yourself. Tell yourself, I am loving, I am loved. 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 And then remember to treat yourself kindly. Remember all the things, you poor thing. How much damage have I done to myself? How much damage have you done to yourself, you poor, poor thing? How much damage have you done to others? How much damage have others done to you? You poor thing, you poor, poor thing. It doesn't matter whether you're a tea leaf picker in India or whether you're president of some country. You're a human being, and we all have certain characteristics that are universal. Okay? So, let me go to my doodle. Okay. Here it is. I'll see if I can do this. All right. Here we go. Brace yourself. Okay, I'm going to do my super lucky, what do they call those mudras? In fancy, like advanced yoga, they do mudras, which are these like finger poses. I'll do one for you that I like to do first of all. Hold on. I'm trying to calm myself. Okay, here we go. It goes like this. See if you can do it. It's a hand and finger exercise, and what it does, to me, it creates calm, neutrality, and it just clears everything. I'll see if I can do it again. You are loving. You are loved. Bless you guys. Okay. Whew. Okay. Fluffing the aura. Don't forget, fluff your aura. Keep it all clean and smooth. Okay. It gets very linty very quickly. Here we go. Okay. Imagine you're at a beautiful lake and there's nature everywhere and you're completely protected and insulated from all the horrors of this planet, all the horrors of humanity and how humanity betrays and defiles itself and each other. And you're just hanging out with, Terlumination. We're hanging out at the little campfire and you've got your, cookies and beverages and everybody's comfortable. This is kind of what I felt. Oh gosh, I hope I can do this. USA. Okay. The United Debt Farm of America. Here we go. The United Debt Farm of America. Okay, so that probably would look like one of those things you would see on an old Western movie, and this would look like a brand, USA, and stamped it on a cow, and this would be the front gates of the United States of America Debt Farm. Okay, welcome. And inside the debt farm are 350 million debt cows. Okay? 350 million debt cows. That's us, people. So, and what we have here is the almighty dollar. Now, from my perspective, this is again just my opinion, okay? Hello, Angela, I see you. The United Debt Farm of America. It's the biggest enterprise on earth. This enterprise is extremely successful and extremely efficient. It is owned by, owned by the Federal Reserve, banks, and it is operated by the federal government. Okay, this is my simplified view of the world. This is the United States, and there's the rest of the world. It's just an opinion, it's just one perspective from a very, very lofty viewpoint, imagining that I have my own Terlumination spaceship and I can see it from a satellite view. This is what I see, and this is what I wrote about in my little book, okay? My little book is all about this. And at the very end of it, I'm not going to go into the book itself because I can't even hardly remember what I wrote except this. And at the very tippy end, okay, this was written years ago. At the very, very tippy end, Saturn enters Capricorn around the very end of 2017 for a very long journey, almost 3 years into early 2020. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. The time of maximum stress, where we will have global financial catastrophe, is around January 2020. Okay, that was the trigger date. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Okay, mark your calendars now. I wrote this book years ago, and everything in here is now happening. Okay? Let me see if I can find the exact sentence where... anyway, it talks about the financial catastrophe that was going to happen all across the world in 2020. Okay, so we know about that. So I wrote this book, Wealth, Money, Finance. I'm not a financier. I'm not a banker. I never went to Wharton or Princeton or Harvard or Yale Business School. I hardly have any money. But I understand this stuff, and that's why I wrote about it. And the real title is Global Restructuring, January 2020. And there are a few really premium astrologers out there now who understand this and believe this and have put voice to this. Thank you. Because it really needs to be spoken. Okay? Anyway, things have moved on since this book. This book is still current today, and it describes the operations over here. So, here's the thing. We have our own unique world over here, and this is the rest of the world. This over here is called the United States dollar. It is a sacred institution across the world. It is for 88% of the planet. It is the universal currency of exchange. Okay, and we have immense privileges in this country with our money and our currency that no other country on earth has. And that's where we have the big problem right now, and where I believe the deepest, most profound restructuring is going to happen. And it is now at the very early stages of beginning. So over here on the other side of the world, we have the People's Republic of China. Basically, I'm going to call it slave camp China. Remember, these are just my opinions. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings from China, okay? These are just my opinions. The People's Slave Camp of China, which is owned and operated by a bunch of thugs in suits, okay? And they have their currency as well. It's sort of, I can't remember the symbol. So they have the United Slave Camp of China. And then we have every other country. Which includes everybody in Western Europe, Central and South America, Africa, India, Russia, everywhere that's not the United States. So what I've done is I've kind of divided the world up into two parts, America and everybody else, okay? Now, as a lot of you know, China is a growing economy. It's not like what we are, but they are still a very aggressive growing economy. And they're very, very interested in turning the whole world into the United Slave Camp of China, where we are now debt slaves working under the debt slave camp of China. Of course, America doesn't want that. What actually happens is America has what I consider a very sick marriage. America is married to China from like 20, 30 years ago. And China is now married to the United States. To me, it looks like a really bad marriage that has a tremendous amount of glossy, appealing aspects that are very hard to let go of. All of it is to do with money and the power that comes with money. Pluto, okay? Power and money. The abuse of money and power and the righteous use of money and power. So America is like this beautiful entity that has an infinite amount of debt and credit available. We can do whatever we want. We can basically like keep running our credit cards forever and ever and create more and more debt. And everyone else in the world has to put up with it. And they don't have any other option except to moderate their currencies to allow for this behavior. China doesn't like that. So what China does is China moderates and changes the value of its currency every time that we change ours. So we always stay in a state of parity between the United Debt Farm of America and the slave camp of China. In other words, we go up, they go up. We go down, they go down. and that affects everybody else. So what I think of is, here, it's a currency war, okay? It's war. And what I think is happening right now, and what is actually the real global restructuring here, global restructuring January 2020, the first cracks happened here in America and in China, where we had all the outbreaks, 45 million unemployed over here within 3 months. That is staggering shock. That's as though China dropped a bomb on us. As far as I'm concerned, I think of the virus as the China virus. Sorry, China, that's just my opinion. I can't prove it. So it's like China drops a bomb on the USA. It's the perfect setup to blow apart some of the physical infrastructure of the country. Hello, Diana. And hello, Angela. Hello, Lilin. So to me, it looks very simple. I'm trying to pretend this is like a children's game, like a video game or something. China creates this, or accidentally has this, like, weapon. You can, it's like the weaponization of a virus. Oh my gosh, it got out. Now it's infected the United States. And obviously the United States was going to be more badly affected than anywhere else on Earth, because we travel so much and we have so much money compared to a lot of other places. And so the United States became the epicenter of the bomb. So basically China drops a bomb on America, kaboom. The United Debt Farm of America gets blown up. We get infected just like a corporate beef farm, just like a corporate pig farm, just like a corporate chicken farm, that gets infected. And all the cows, all the debt cows are bleeding and hurting. Some are still okay, but, a lot of people in America don't really, subscribe to the idea of being a debt cow. I personally believe pretty much everybody in America is a debt cow, because America is built on the 5 pillars of debt, like college loans, credit cards, mortgages, car payments, and healthcare payments. All of those are basically crippling. All of that stuff cripples the individual. We think it's fantastic, and we have this so-called high standard of living. But what's actually happening is, I believe, that the Federal Reserve is milking the cows for everything that they can get. And they don't care if a few debt cows die and collapse on the way. It's just like what happens on a chicken farm. The federal government does the operations on behalf of the Federal Reserve. So it's just a massive system that feeds the owners of the debt farm. That's my simplistic viewpoint. Now here's where things get difficult. We run our whole country on debt, okay? So what is starting to happen now is that everyone else in the world, especially China, and especially Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Facebook, are trying to figure out how can we protect ourselves from the infinite ability of the United States debt farm to continue to print its money to solve all its problems. Okay, I'm not going to go into the whole concepts of inflation and deflation and devaluation of currencies, because I'm not an expert. I'm just observing. So every time that we print out trillions of dollars of new money to save the debt farm, that messes up every other country on earth in terms of their abilities to import and export their businesses. And so, because we made a decision to print trillions and trillions of dollars to save ourselves, now everybody else has to print trillions of dollars to save themselves, which means their currency is now devalued. Their currency is devalued because we had to devalue our currency. So it becomes a currency war. We do this, then they have to do this, and they have to do this. Otherwise, we lose the parity. And the stability of the global economy is jolted out of alignment. Right now, we have this so-called I think of as a very unhealthy, sick, unstable alignment that is this thing that we have now. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cryptocurrencies, okay? I'm going to make another, I'm just going to put it over here on a separate doodle. Here, I'm going to get another board. Here's where things get a little awkward and where I'm not an expert, okay? Just please bear with me. They're called cryptocurrencies. Okay? And these came into existence about 10 years ago. It was started apparently by some Japanese fellow who started to realize, like I did many years ago, that there's something fundamentally broken and very dangerous about the way our money works today in this world. Okay? The financial system that we have on the planet today was essentially built just before World War I and after World War II, when the primary banking entities realized war is really good business. And they figured out having the gold standard currency is a real nuisance. And so they figured out, let's get rid of gold and let's create what they called a fiat currency, which is the opposing energy. Fiat means we make it up as we go along. In other words, whatever we decide money is, that's what we decide. I think the very first sentence in my book, hold on, let me just tell you. Here it is, the very first sentence in my book. Money is what we believe it to be. Money is also what we are taught to believe it to be. Whether we call it paper money, fiat currency, digital currency, no matter, it is all a fiction. The word fiat means made up or made or to make. Okay, we live in a world of made up currencies. It's basically a design, and so long as everybody believes in it, that's what it is. Okay? Now, at this moment in time, the whole world, every single country, every single central bank operates with fiat currencies. They have to, because they can't go to the gold standard anymore, because the United States made a decision, screw the gold standard, we're going to print our own money, and we're just going to convince everybody that the more dollars that you have, the richer that you are. So it is in our interest, as the Federal Reserve, to print, 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 print. And it's in the interest of the federal government to keep the debt cow, the debt farm going. So that's what we do. It started around 1910, and now it's going along here today at 2020. So it's about 120 years of history. It's about half of a Pluto cycle. So right now, we are in a state of the world where everything is done with fiat currencies. We change ours, everyone else has to change. They change ours, they change theirs, we change ours. It's a war. So one of the biggest wars that's happening on planet Earth right now is financial warfare in the currency markets. The currency markets between these global entities. And what happened is that Japanese guy figured out that fiat currencies can only go so far. Because in the end, it means we either just keep printing money to infinity and we are never accountable for our actions, just like you being a wealthy adult and giving your children infinite supply of credit cards and they can do whatever they want and they never have to pay it back. That's what America does to its debt cows, okay? So, and we carry the debt. So this fellow invented a cryptocurrency, which is a way of kind of introducing like a digital protection, how to protect your money, protect your finances, protect your wealth. Because the theory with cryptocurrencies is that they create a mathematical 0 point which never changes. So as the theory is that as America prints more and more money and the value of your dollar decreases and decreases, the value of your cryptocurrency increases and increases to counteract the inflation. So guess what? places like Bitcoin, okay, Ethereum, these are the famous popular ones. They're extremely volatile and they're very immature right now, but they do exist. And they have become multi-billion-dollar video games for investors to play games and make money out of the instability here. But guess what? There is some real truth to the Bitcoins and the Ethereums and the cryptocurrencies. This here is what is starting to emerge. This is the biggest threat to this. So take this, put it on this map. Basically, cryptocurrencies are the biggest threat to the stability of the United States debt farm. The Federal Reserve already knows that. All the major banks in America know that. All of Wall Street knows that. The thing is, everyone else in the world knows that too, because the cryptocurrencies are also a threat to every other fiat currency over here and to the fiat currency of China. So guess what's happening? Okay, calm down, TL, calm down. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. My computer's stuck. Give me a second. What happened to me? Okay. I'm going to end it and I'm going to open it up again. Okay. Let me see. Stay there. Don't go away, everybody. I have to reboot everything again. I have to reboot again. Sorry. This is a real freaking pain. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. Bear with me. Don't go away. Okay. So let's get back over here. Let me see if I can do this. I have to go over here. Oh, give me a second. Here we go. Let's have a look. Okay, now I should be there. Can everybody see me? I hope so. Let's have a look. So there we are on the main stage, and then I'm over here. Let's have a look, see if I can get back to you guys. Okay, here I am. So I just want to take a breath for the moment. All I'm doing is voicing my observations and my opinions. I don't know a lot about cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin. I'm not a banker. I just understand the raw, simple concepts. Fiat currencies are man-made, fictional, flexible currencies. Cryptocurrencies are fixed, locked currencies. It's like a digital version of having like the gold standard. So in other words, you and your money cannot be devalued or harmed by the banks or the central banks or the federal government and their political and banking decisions that work in their favor. In other words, if you work really hard for your money, you get to keep your money and you get to keep the value of your money. That's why cryptocurrencies are so dangerous to the global economy. But guess what? You can't switch them off. They're not going to go away. Somebody somewhere is going to figure out how to integrate cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, into their economy, into their country. Okay? So right now, there is a race. There is a war. It is an invisible war. It is an unspoken war. But the war is this. Okay, I'll just show you in a very simple terms. The war is this. America versus the rest of the world. Right now, the rest of the world, especially China, is heavily motivated to undermine the United States, because then China can implement its global ambition of taking over the whole world and everybody becomes a slave to China. That is their ultimate goal. I'm not interested. I would rather be over here, even though I live with this. So right now, China is doing everything it can to implement some form of primitive, elementary, digital cryptocurrency. I'll just call it digital. That's the key thing here. Creating digital currencies. That is not just, online banking. That's not just PayPal or, Venmo. It's actual digital currency. And so what that means is that the whole of the American banking system is being threatened. China doesn't care. China can say whatever it wants and do whatever it wants. What China is trying to do is create a single digital currency for the whole of China and all the Chinese. So guess what that means? You have the People's Republic Bank of China. So you just have one bank. Can you imagine that? Can you just imagine? Your whole country does everything through one bank. And because it's a digital currency, everything is trackable. Okay? So the whole idea is that China wants to create its own single digital currency where everything goes through the Central Bank of China. Everything. So just imagine in America, if the federal government in America came up and told you, okay, everybody, things have changed. Everybody now has to open an account with the Federal Reserve. And we are going to tell you how much money you have, and we can track everything. Okay? Everything. Everything goes through the Federal Reserve. One bank, one digital currency, owned and operated by the Federal Reserve, operated by the federal government. To me, that is an absolutely terrifying scenario about losing control of our lives, our money, our wealth, our finance. How is the world going to integrate digital currencies? Nobody knows. The world has never done this before. It's a very precarious, highly unstable situation, and it's not going to go away. These things, digital currencies, are not going to go away. My personal belief, this is where it's going to get really scary, is that China deliberately, very surreptitiously planted the viral bomb, knowing that it would hit the United States and cause economic and health devastation and the rest of the world, and to China itself. I think China has 1.4 billion people, and the leaders decided, well, we can afford to lose a few 100,000 here and there in order to serve the Chinese, mega plan. And that's just what we call collateral damage. I'm sorry, it's just that goes with part of our agenda for global domination. So hear me out. This is a very scary, conspiracy theorist type of concept, but this is my opinion. It's not, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's universal truth. I'm not saying it's subjective truth. These are just my observations and opinions. So it's like China did what it did, does what it does. It's, of course, in total denial, but the bomb goes off. Blam! The United States economy is blown to pieces for a while, so we are in a shock. There are parts of the United States economy that have been shredded forever. But what really, really happened with this bomb is the bomb blew apart the fundamental errors of the United Debt Farm of America. It blew apart the optical illusion, the financial illusion that is perpetuated by the Federal Reserve of having infinite supplies of printable money. So this is starting to become a conversation in the financial world, but there's very little about any of this stuff in your regular news, okay? Even Alarian, the guy from Allianz, he mentions these things now and again, but I've seen very little talk about this anywhere on the news. But what I'm suggesting right now is be aware that this is happening. There are people inside the Federal Reserve Bank of America who are terrified of the digital currencies because it threatens their existence as they stand right now. Okay? The main threat comes from China, because China is starting to implement its own digital currency, and the people of China The slave camp of China, they don't have a choice. They don't have a democracy. When the bosses of China say, you are all now going to have digital currency, then everyone's going to have digital currency, and it will all just go through one single central bank. And that's it. And that completely upends the whole global financial system. Everything that we know today would be crushed and remodeled, okay? And that would affect every other country too. So the way I look at it right now is what is happening is the very, very early stages of war. I think of it as World War III. And the real war is happening in the currency markets. Okay? Let me go back to my own self over here a minute, okay? So, what I think is happening right now is we had this big bomb that went off over here, January 2020, okay? Got it? January 2020. I wrote about it years ago. That would be the day that the bomb first triggered. Over here, especially in the United States, okay? So that's exactly what happened, and it aligned perfectly with the Cancer Capricorn eclipses at that time, if you remember. So we're going back to January and December last year. January 2020 and December last year. That's when the very first shockwaves of the bomb landed. So January, February, March, April, May. 5 months later, we're still dealing with the shockwaves of that bomb. So the bomb went off mostly over here in New York, and then over there in Washington, and over here in Los Angeles, and eventually to the rest of the country within a few weeks. Economic devastation, healthcare devastation, blam. So that just happened. We now got, 42 million people unemployed within a few months. That's staggering. That's worse than almost what happened in the Great Depression, 1929, okay? So everybody knows about that. That's old news now. Kerblam. Over here, China, as far as I'm concerned, they are the ones who dropped the bomb. I consider it the China virus, just like SARS, just like MERS, just like swine flu, just like bird flu, and now it's coronavirus. All of them came from here. Is that a coincidence? To me, it all happens because over here, they have different behavior, different lifestyle, and I guess they're used to it, but they decided, well, we can weaponize this. Let's drop a bomb over here. So that's how you start the war. You start the war by dropping a bomb and messing everybody up. Divide and rule. Terrify the enemy. So the United States is running around like a bunch of debt cows that have had their ears blown out from bombs, their eyes, their ears, their limbs blown off, their financial welfare blown to pieces. 40 million people, okay? Basically devastated by a virus bomb. So now we are at the point where the shock waves have subsided from the initial explosion, the virus, and what's happened is the infrastructure has been exposed in its frailty. And from now on, we have to have global restructuring. We have to do it. And the main restructuring is going to come through the global financial markets. Wealth, money, and finance, okay? My personal feeling, as I wrote in this book, is that the battlefield is going to be the currency markets, especially between China and the United States, as they battle it out. Because China is going to create a digital currency, and they will use that currency as a weapon, okay? They're doing it right now, and they are going to implement this weapon, and it is a digital currency, and it will affect every country on the world, including the United States, most especially the United States. Their whole purpose with creating the digital currency is to use it as a weapon against the United States, and in so doing, restructure the world in their favor. The United States does not want that to happen. So there are people inside the federal government and the Federal Reserve who are thinking, oh, this is a problem. Our supremacy is now in jeopardy. What are we going to do? We are at war. We are at war. What I see now is 2020 is a time of war, and we're at the very early stages. Wait till we get to June 21st. Wait till we get to the 4th of July. Think about all this 5 and 6 retrogrades for most of the rest of the year, and think about the ascending pressures towards October, November, December with all that Capricorn. Everything is still escalating, okay? So we're, to me, my opinion is that we're still in the early stages of what I see as an emerging World War III, where it's not being fought on the battlefields of Europe. We're not going to lose, 30, 50, 120 million people from blood and slaughter. It's going to be through attrition because of a currency war, primarily between China and the United States, using the weapons of digital currency. So it's like the space race. China is already developing its own digital currency. The United States is not going to have an option. It's going to have to develop some kind of digital financial currency or some kind of currency to counter the Chinese intentions, okay? And that is going to affect everybody on Earth. Everybody on Earth. Right now, today, all commercial major global transactions for most of the commodities, things like oil, gas, timber, minerals, all the mining, rare earth metals, 88% of that is conducted in the American dollar, okay? That pisses off a lot of people who are not Americans. It pisses off, the Saudis. It pisses off China, India, everybody in Africa, everybody in Europe. I mean, the United States is in a fair bit of alignment with, Europe, but because we have democracies. Over here, it's mostly democracies. Over here, it's mostly democracies. And over here and over here. But the rest of the world is highly vulnerable. Highly, highly vulnerable to the digital currencies that are going to be created over here, that are going to be weaponized. It's the weaponization of digital currency. That's what's going to happen. We're at the very early stages. You heard it here first, okay? People who are deeply into digital currencies, they already know all this stuff, but a lot of them are considered as fringe elements, or they're just criminal enterprises, whatever. But it is going to grow in global consciousness, and it's not going to go away. So, personally, I'm scared. I'm scared. This stuff scares me. The reason it scares me is because these guys, they don't have a democracy. It's a command and control economy. It's basically hardcore command and control communism. If you do not do what they tell you to do, you are disappeared. Just look what happened in Hong Kong. Okay? That is very, very scary stuff. There's a reason why people still think that parts of America and the Constitution are actually quite noble, even though the United States is being exposed in its fragility and the perversions and the corruptions and the destruction and devolution of its Constitution. It was inevitable. It's going to happen. And now we over here in America, we have to find a way to counter this. And we will find a way somehow, but it's not going to be pretty. Okay? Already the world is starting to close up. You probably noticed that airfare has dramatically closed down. Travel between China and America has radically shrunk. And I think it's going to continue, because basically that's what happens when people start to prepare for war. They start to go back into their own camps, their own hoods, and they consolidate their time, their energy, and resources to prepare themselves to counter their enemy. That's what happens in war. That's what happened in World War I over here. That's what happened in World War II over here that affected a lot of other places. But this is a whole new war. This is a monster that's affecting the whole planet. And it's being done through the currency markets. Okay? So that's my opinion. Oh yeah, hi Path Traveler. Yeah, there are plenty of places that are starting to take cryptocurrencies. I bought, as an experiment, because I want to learn what happens. I'm just letting you know, I bought, about 8 or 10 years ago, I bought about 150 American dollars worth of Bitcoin. I had no idea what I was doing. And I had no idea what to do with it because it's very weird. And I still own that. And the theory with the Bitcoin is that it protects me, my finances, my money, and the value of my money. But guess what? It's not working. Okay? It's very early days for digital currencies, but it is there and it's not going to go away. So, right now, my $150 worth of Bitcoin is about 120. Okay? So whatever amazing things they're telling you about cryptocurrencies, especially the big ones like whatever it is, Ethereum, and then there's dozens of them, be aware. They have been hijacked by speculators and criminals, and you can use them if you want, but there is just as much fraud and criminality that goes on in the world of cryptocurrencies as there is with the Federal Reserve and your typical bank or your typical bank robber, theft. People will find a way to criminalize these things, and so they do. But in the meantime, it still exists as a concept, and Bitcoin is the most famous. And all I'm saying is, in my opinion, we're at the very, very early stages of global restructuring because the smartest people on earth are trying to figure out how to kill each other's economies using digital currencies. Because it's not going to go away. Digital currencies are not going to go away. So what are we going to do? China is already trying to put itself in first position, what they call a first mover. In other words, they're trying to do everything else they can right now to take the first steps to put us at a disadvantage. So be aware of that right now. Do whatever you have to do. I don't know how to do it. I'm not an expert, but here's another. Let me show you something else over here. Stay there. Protect your money. Protect your privacy. Protect yourself. Okay? We are pioneers here. We are on the new frontiers of financial wisdom, financial history. It is happening. We are living today, right now, in this what really amounts to a global revolution, like has never happened before in human history. So we're alive now. We're going to live through it now in our lifetimes. Our children and our grandparents are living through it right now. Some people are going to be badly damaged. Some people are going to come out just fine. I have no idea. I don't know what it's going to look like. Okay? So, that's my rant. Well, it's not a rant. I was just sharing my opinions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to really repeat it all again, but basically, I think you get the idea. Global Restructuring 2020 is starting to emerge as based around money, the structure of money. What is money? What do we believe money to be? What's money going to look like in the future? How are you going to protect your money? How are you going to protect your privacy? How are you going to protect your home, your family, your retirement account, your work, your income? When you go to work, imagine being in a country like over here where inflation is out of control. In other words, the harder you work, the poorer you get, because they don't know how to manage their money in a lot of places, and there's a lot of corruption. So, it's going to feel different wherever you are in the world. If you live in India, what's India? India is already starting to look into digital currencies. And guess what? Facebook is trying to create its own currency. Literally, its own digital currency. Just like they kind of do in video games where you have pretend money. Just like they do in casinos where you buy chips. Facebook is creating something called the Libra. Why not? They're doing it because they can. They have billions and billions of dollars. Who knows? Amazon may be next. We might have something called the Amazon. It might be a form of currency. And Jeff Bezos will become a multi-trillionaire. Anyway, so there you go. That's my rant. I'm going to go check out here on the chats, see what everybody's up to. I just wanted to share that with you. I have a feeling I'll be doing more little videos like this in the future because we've got 2 more eclipses, okay? Mark your calendars. June 21st, the Cancer new moon eclipse around 0 degrees. That's a scary, powerful eclipse. It's going to affect Cancerians, Capricorns, Aries, Libra. Just check out where is the 0 point of Cancer in your chart. That's going to be the trigger point. And then 2 weeks later, look for the 4th of July. Where are the trigger points for the eclipses on the 4th of July in your particular chart? Take note, because that's where you're going to feel the eclipses. Okay? That's just how it works. In the meantime, what can we do as individuals? Because all these decisions are being made by the political leaders, okay? Over here in the United States. The Federal Reserve banks working with the federal government and all the commercial banks. By the way, here's another side effect if you create like a single universal digital currency through one central bank. What happens to all the retail banks? Where do they go? What do they do? Is it going to be like Blockbuster Video where everything just disappears? I don't know. But if we end up with a Federal Reserve currency and it all goes through a digital central bank, we're going to be tracked, okay? The federal government can track us in conjunction with the Federal Reserve because everybody will have to go through the central bank. To me, that's absolutely terrifying. I like my privacy. I like my anonymity. I like to own and control my own finances, okay? And I don't like people watching me in every financial aspect of my life. I don't want to live that way. I just don't want to do it. I mean, there's a reason why America places extreme high value on autonomy, independence, and freedom of speech, right to bear arms, freedom of the press, the right to own and do things, the right to pursue happiness. No one else has that constitution on earth. Nobody. Anyway. I just had to get that out there. All right? So let's have a look. What's going on? Hello, people. Hello, Diana. Thank you. It really set my... Oh. Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's really weird what's happening. It's dystopia. Okay? And it really is global restructuring. Most of the restructuring is going to happen in the world of wealth. Your wealth, your money, your finances. That's where the real restructuring is going to happen, okay? We've already built most of the world. Every city in America has already been built, okay? Pretty much every city in China has already been built. They're probably going to make a few more. India, they did that long ago. Africa, everything's being done. We have expanded ourselves to 7.5 billion people Anywhere that a human being can live is now occupied by human beings. It didn't used to be that way 200 years ago. 200 years ago, there was still a lot of wilderness. But I think the virus, the China virus, is simply a consequence of when you have so many people living in such tight conditions without a lot of controls over their behavior, or without a lot of care or concern over the consequences of their behavior, and you end up with these radical, terrifying bugs, killer bugs. And now it's all over the world. You can't unbug the coronavirus, the China virus. It's out there, and that's the first one. There's already more coronavirus, China viruses already mutating. Okay? So what do we do now? Huh? Figure that out. Hello, Nettie Jenkins. How much for an astrology chart? Oh, do you mean like an astrology reading? I could do that. I mean, I'm not the premium high-end. The really premium high-end astrologers, they're going to do it all with their big computers and charge you like $150 or $300. But I do readings. Mostly I'll do tarot readings. It's basically like mediumship or whatever you want to call it. But I'm very happy to throw some astrology into that as well. So Nettie, if anybody wants to book a reading, you can do that. You just go to tarotlumination.com, and there's a place where you can do it. Or you can actually check the link below in these videos. There's a link, okay? And, I do these readings for people. It's very much like what we do here right now. It's just me and you. It's private, and I do it on my Zoom system. It's fun. And you can check it out. So, Nettie, hello from Connecticut. Yeah, if you want a reading, if anybody wants a reading, feel free to connect. Go to tarotlumination.com, and you can find the connect page. And you can do it all through like the PayPal, and then we book it. I've done readings with people all over the world. So, so long as you've got access to an internet or a smartphone, we can do these readings, okay? It's mind-boggling what shows up. Anyway, let's have a look. Who's there? Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of astrologers out there who will do your birth chart. Nettie, the really fun things that happen with Tarot Illumination is what we would get your chart, and then we would look at your chart in terms of the present day. What's happening with you now? Where are your trigger points? Where do you need to be careful? Where are you vulnerable? Where is your strength? Okay? How can you optimize yourself? How can you protect yourself, your heart, your spirit? How can you, so that, in other words, so that you don't get destroyed. Let me go back to this. Okay, Nettie, hold on. So Nettie, for example, let's say everything I just said here really was kind of disturbing, and you think, oh my God, I want a reading with Tarot Illumination, oh my God, my God, my God. So what would happen is, we would get a chart, it would look something, I can get more detail than this, but this is kind of what a chart would look like, and it would look specific for you. I mean, it could have anything on it. I'm not sure what your chart is like. Don't tell me anything right here, right now, but if you want to, yeah, we can do that. And what I would do is I would do a little sort of a comprehensive reading, like maybe some tarot cards regarding certain subjects. But we would look at your own personal chart, and we could compare the weather, I think of this as the weather, with your own personal chart to see where you are vulnerable, where it's very easy for you to hurt yourself or be hurt by others, and how you can protect yourself, whatever it is. So just let me know. Just go to tarotlumination.com. We'll see what we can do. So, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my little video. And it's a little bit oversimplified, but let me just put this up close. And the other subjects that we threw in there was all about the digital currencies as opposed to the fiat currencies. So I'm thinking that it might be fun, maybe one day on another Wednesday, because it seems to be a good time for people, where we would host a private meeting through the Terra Illumination meeting place, and maybe like, I don't know, if people wanted to pay $5 or $10 for a ticket, maybe we could have 5 or 10 people, and we could look at some very specific situations. If everybody shows up with their own chart, for example, we could find out your trigger points and how to make the best of your life, your situation right now. Okay? Or we could have like a seminar or a webinar thing, okay? And I would do something like this, but it would be private, and we could be a little bit more comfortable, and I wouldn't have to worry so much about YouTube censorship, okay? Anyway, we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I look forward to hearing from you, anybody, if anyone's interested. And let me go over here. Okay, it looks like BB went over to the links. Cool. Hi, Diana. Hi, Nettie. Hi, Gabby. Sorry about that situation recently. Anyway, about that. It is a little bit terrifying. Honestly, Diana, this stuff is scaring the doo-doo out of me. But I'm still smiling, I'm still alive, and I'm doing whatever I can to protect my money, my privacy, myself. I have to. Every American, everybody on earth has to do it, because we are all going to be impacted by this very, very subtle, very invisible. Have you ever heard this expression? Okay. Have you ever heard the expression? I'm not military in this lifetime. I think I was in the military in other lifetimes. Have you ever heard of asymmetric warfare? That's what we're dealing with here. It's warfare that doesn't meet the traditional conventions, like, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. I'm going to kill you, because if I don't kill you, you're going to kill me. So let's meet up on the battlefield. Ah! That's symmetrical warfare. You shoot at me, I shoot at you. You come at me from the side, I'll come at you from the other side. Asymmetric warfare is that you're sitting there just trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I'm in a very dangerous position, and all of a sudden, you get zapped by something like a virus. The virus is a weapon. The weaponization of a virus, the weaponization of a currency, that is asymmetric warfare. Forget the guns and the bullets and the nuclear stuff. Sure, that's all a possibility. If people get enraged, they just press the nuclear button. But I think there's too many people who are scared to press the nuclear button because it means it's going to backfire on them. So I think what people are going to do is they're going to resort to asymmetric warfare, for example, with viruses and with currencies. So to me, that is very scary stuff. I hope, did I scare you enough, everybody? Ah! Anyway. No, Diana. Okay, I see what you wrote there. Let me type it on. Let me type this on the screen for a second, because I want to put you the exact word. It's like a typo. It goes like this: ASYMETRI. Is it 2 M's? Asymmetric. Okay. It looks like that. Asymmetric. Like, hold on. Let me go back to you, Diana. Like, when we're talking about symmetry, okay, like symmetry is how things match up and line up nicely, okay? And with asymmetric warfare, we're talking about things coming in from odd angles, okay, that are very difficult to predict, very difficult to defend against, very difficult to understand, okay? That is asymmetric warfare. Asymmetric weapons like those sonic bomb things, asymmetric warfare from things like digital warfare, where somebody in China figures out how to stop all the electricity in America. Things like that. That's asymmetric warfare. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, we all need a retreat. So let's all go to Kentucky and get onto that big mansion by the river, and we'll just get a lot of barbed wire and some guns and load up and make a big garden, and we'll just stay safe and then let the rest of the world fall apart. Okay? Sounds fantastic. Asymmetric. Okay, 2 M's. Got it. Thank you, Diana. So anyway, you can see why there are certain people in America who are going to load up their pickup trucks and their trailers and head up way into the mountains. Okay? Maybe living in such a way where you don't even need currency. Anyway. Wow. I did it. I'm actually kind of proud of myself right now. I was very scared to do this video because I realized yesterday, once I made my doodle on the napkin, I had to share this thing, knowing that I don't really know a lot about what I'm talking about. I'm not an economist. I'm not a banker. I'm not a professional astrologer. I don't have any degrees. I'm just trying to stay alive like you guys. And I have my little YouTube channel. I have my YouTube channel, and I'm proud of that. It's what I have. And it's my way to express to the world. I'm exercising my Gemini North Node right now. I'm trying to take all my collective Sagittarius South Node wisdom from lifetimes past, and I'm trying to bring them into something useful in this lifetime, in the next year and a half or so, for the Gemini North Node. I am going to do my part. Okay? I promise I will do my part. To do the best I can to live out as a shining example of trying to live out the North Node energy. Trying to communicate in ways that are intelligible, not too many big, long, complicated formulas and sentences and huge, thick books that are hard to understand. I'm just trying to talk in the way that a layperson would talk, just an ordinary person would talk if you're stuck at a cafe or an airport or in your house or with your friends, and none of us know anything about, how to do, currency trading for real, and we're all just trying to stay alive. So I'm just one of those. I'm just very ordinary, and I'm trying to share what I have in an ordinary way so that you don't get hijacked by the big bad people. Okay? Okay, so let's wrap it up. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll do this again. This gives me a chance to release energy and share energy. Hope to see you guys on Sunday night. I know it's difficult for some of you. We've got the Super Chat paid mini readings. We do that. And I'm doing personal readings too, if anyone's interested. And just get in touch. Go to tarotlumination.com. It's pretty easy. Okay. So I'm going to start to wrap it up now. And it sounds like this. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. See you Sunday. Okay? Toodaloo. Chat amongst yourselves until I actually shut it down.